What is going on, guys? Back with another Washington Wizards YouTube video. Now, I want to talk about two things. Wes Unseld Jr. and his John Wall news. Firstly, I'm going to get started with the Wes Unseld Jr. talk. Now, I have an issue with Wes Unseld Jr. right now. And I think it's an issue that multiple Wizards fans are having with him currently. His rotations have been very questionable, over the season at times, and more up to date these last two games at LA against the Lakers and against the Clippers. I just have a hard time understanding why he is reluctant to go off of his script and, stay with the hot hand. Rui Hachimura, for example, against the Clippers, he started off hot. He had 11 points. He finished that game with, I believe, 18. And only played 24 minutes. And then against the Lakers, Rui Hachimura started out hot. Once again, he started out extremely hot. And then he didn't get into the game again until a full 4 minutes in the third quarter, where he then struggled to shoot from the field. Wes Unseld Jr. has iced Rui Hachimura from hot starts in these last two games, and I cannot understand it. Against the Clippers, Ish Smith looked good, but he got the least minutes out of Satoransky and Raul Neto. Raul Neto continues to play big minutes, and I don't understand why. Yesterday, Raul Neto played way more than he should have. Yesterday, KCP played way more than he should have. I don't understand why Wes Unseld Jr. doesn't, go off script a little bit. You see Rui Hachimura's playing well, you play him. Get him 30 minutes in this game. You see KCP is struggling. You see Raul Neto is struggling. Ish Smith and Satoransky are playing a little better. Let's lay off of Raul Neto a little bit and play a little bit more Ish Smith and Satoransky. I mean, Denny was struggling. He played Denny a little bit less. I'm not understanding why he struggles so much to make these in-game adjustments. It's like he has his cue cards with the game plan, and no matter what happens throughout the game, he refuses to go off of those cue cards. He refuses, simply. That game against the Lakers obviously was lost in the third quarter when LeBron James just went crazy. I felt like Raul Neto was in for way too long. I felt like KCP was in for way too long. I felt like Rui Hachimura was on the bench for way too long. And I mean, there's been instances from earlier in the season, before the trade deadline, where we were complaining about why these guys getting certain minutes and these guys only getting a couple of minutes. And it just didn't make sense. Maybe Wes Unseld Jr. needs defined guys that he knows are good and consistent and is going to give you, because he doesn't seem like the type of coach, and maybe it's because it's his first year, but he does not seem like the type of coach so far that is just going to adjust on the fly and stick with the hot hand. And I mean, there's no way in this game Raul Neto should have played 23 minutes. It's no way in this game Kentavious Caldwell-Pope should have played 30 minutes. It is just no way. Rui Hachimura played 26 minutes. It should have been more. It simply should have been more. I mean, it's a frustrating thing because this is a thing that Wizards fans went through with Scott Brooks as far as the rotations. I mean, you got to just stop icing your own players, Wes. I mean, Rui Hachimura comes out cooking, and then I don't see him again until 4 minutes left in the third quarter when LeBron James already done scored 15 points. So I'm looking at Wes like, Wes, what are you doing? Why? I'm not understanding his rotation so far. Maybe it gets better next season. Maybe he needs a vet assistant to help him out. I'm not sure, but those last two games in LA against the Clippers and Lakers, he's a big reason as to why the Wizards lost. I mean, of course, the players matter, but I mean, he's made some questionable calls, man. So he doesn't get an excuse for me. No passes for me. So Wes, please do better with your rotations. That's firstly what I wanted to hit on. Next, this John Wall stuff. David Aldrich, the Athletic, he reported that John Wall would be interested in returning to Washington. Bradley Beal, it's piqued his interest as well. Now, obviously, a good amount of things would have to happen for that to occur. Mainly and firstly, John Wall will have to agree to a buyout with the Houston Rockets. And that's easier said than done. That's giving up a lot of money that you're not going to see again for the rest of your NBA career. You're not going to have a season where you're making $40-some million again. So, that's a really tough decision. I don't see that happening. But firstly, that's what it would take him buying out. Does it make sense for the Wizards? I think it can. I wouldn't mind bringing John back, but he would have to understand that this isn't 2010. The Wizards aren't, he's not the face of the Wizards anymore. And you have to buy into what Wes is trying to do here. And it's easy for him to probably just say, yeah, cool, I get it, I'm buying it, I know this is Brad's team, etc. It's easier to say that, but we all know these players who used to be big stars, etc., got egos. So it's easy to say, a little harder to do. I mean, going from face of the franchise to you got Kyle Kuzma, etc., so possibly like third option, KP, third, fourth option on the team. I don't know. It sounds easier said than done. But yeah, John will have to buy into Wes's system, understand that this is Brad's team, even though the Wizards haven't done anything during this duration of it being Brad's team, but you can easily say he hasn't always had the best talent around him. But KCP, Rui, and Porzingis, etc. are good building blocks. And they're in need of a point guard right now. And we see currently with Ish, Shadow, and Raul Neto, Wes Unseld Jr. he doesn't have anything solidified with these guys. He's not willing to adjust to the guy who has the hot hand and play them more. He's not willing to do that, as we see. So he needs somebody who's trustworthy that he can just always put in there, and it doesn't have to worry about who's the hot hand. Obviously. I wouldn't mind John Wall. Yes, you do worry about the fit, him being off ball. What is he going to do while he's off ball? You want him to cut a little bit more, etc. But he's never really been a guy who's cut to the basket, etc. That's never really been his game. And at this point, that's not going to change. So there is things you worry about, but it could have potential to work. It could. And I know some fans would roll their eyes at it and be like, oh, no, we're off that, the injuries and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I think it could work. The lineup of, just the building blocks of Bill and KP and Kuzma and Hachimura, and then you throw John Wall in there. That could be pretty good. On paper, that looks like a pretty good lineup. That looks like a really respectable lineup on paper. Once again, on paper. So would I take John Wall back at this point? Sure. Why not? Now, like I said, there are risks, but it could work out. It has potential to work out. If Bradley Beal wants him back and John Wall is willing to give up all that money and take a buyout to come back, why not? The Wizards need a point guard right now. Why not? So, what do you guys think, man? Do you want John Wall to come back? How do you feel about Wes Unseld Jr.'s rotations? I feel like those were the two main things in Wizards Nation right now. Wes and his questionable rotations and icing of certain players who are coming out hot and not being willing to go off of the game plan. And John Wall being interested in coming back to play for Washington. I mean, when they traded Spencer Dinwiddie, obviously John was a thought because the Wizards needed a point guard again. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think, man. As always, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know how you guys feel. And As always, I will be back next time with another What's This video. Peace.